So, if any of you have ever taken a public speaking class in high school or college, you'll know that one of the first things they teach you is to establish credibility among your audience. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and I'm going to do the exact opposite because I basically have no credibility. I know pretty much nothing about basketball. I didn't start researching this until basically a few hours ago. And yeah, I live in Denver, so basketball's not huge here. Maybe you'd think, because the Nuggets actually made it to the conference final this year, but not really. Denver's a football town through and through, and it's also a hockey town too. Well, maybe I just grew up in a suburban white kid area, but I don't think I've ever actually seen someone ever wearing a Nuggets jersey around town. So basically, what I'm trying to say is how I grew up. I know absolutely nothing about basketball, but this story was pretty intriguing out of Houston. Now, I don't consider myself an NBA fan, but if I were to like an NBA team, I would like the Rockets. And the latest report out of Houston says that James Harden wants to stay. But there is a lot of turmoil going on in the locker room right now. And according to The Athletic, uh, Russell Westbrook wants out of Houston. All those picks they gave Oklahoma City are looking really, really nice for Westbrook right now. So they can go into rebuild mode, but is it the wisest thing to do, especially after they have basically no picks left? I don't think so. Maybe if they get the right package for Russ, they could trade Harden, but I don't know. They could probably get a historical return if they were to trade both of them and really kickstart their rebuild. But when we think about it, does tanking in the NBA really work besides the biggest tank job in sports history in Philadelphia that literally had a slogan behind it? So, also according to The Athletic, Russell Westbrook has informed team officials, so the higher ups in Houston, that he has been really uneasy about the team's accountability and culture, and he has a desire to return to his prior floor general role in Oklahoma City. And more stuff according to The Athletic. So, Austin Rivers was barked at by Harden after the former MVP missed a free throw, and he blamed Rivers, who was standing up by the bench, for distracting him. So basically, Harden missed a free throw, and Austin Rivers was just standing up on the bench, and James Harden was just like, "Bro, you made me miss my free throw." And apparently, Westbrook went around to each player in the locker room indicating what was wrong, what each player needed to do to fix the losing streak, starting with himself. And then when it came to Harden, apparently he wasn't as receptive as his teammates. And former players are describing the culture in Houston as problematic, that it's just filled with drama all day, every day. And this just basically seems like it's Chris Paul all over again. And you can say whatever you want about Russ, but I don't think you can deny his fire and his intensity. There's a coach out there who's going to tame him and use him in the right way. Uh, for example, maybe there's another coach in Texas who is a pretty damn good coach, has a reputation of being one of the best coaches ever in sports, and maybe Papa is willing to spank him into submission. So if we get a Harden and Embiid duo, could you imagine the free throws we're about to get? And to be completely honest, like, what did we think was going to happen now? They lost Morey, they lost D'Antoni, and I think everybody sees the writing on the wall. It might be rebuild time. Now, I'm not saying they should trade Westbrook and Harden for peanuts, because that's what a really bad team that plays in the same city did. And that said team is 2-6 right now, because they traded their star wide receiver. But if you get the right deal for the both of them, then who knows? I mean, they were a great organization for like 7 years or so. And I found a stat that said um, every team since James Harden was traded to the Rockets has missed the playoffs at least once, besides the Rockets. And in a league that, I mean, I guess the parity's all right. I mean, uh, definitely isn't great by any means. Um, Being the only team to not miss the playoffs in 7 years or so, that's pretty damn good. And will they break up the new team before the season starts? No. They probably won't fire Silas or do anything ridiculous. But yeah, these Russ rumors are just gaining more heat by the day. And I think there's a disconnect because after Harden and Westbrook lost to the Lakers this year, uh, Harden and Westbrook said that they were one piece away, and the Rockets are already bordering the luxury tax for next season, and they already traded away a ton of picks. So I don't, if they're one piece away, I don't know how they can get that one piece with no picks and basically no money. And there have definitely been a lot of really, really poor front office decisions in Houston over the past few years. I mean, Tillman was the one who really, really, really pushed for that Westbrook deal to get done. But guess what? They have no assets now. And I'm not saying it's all on him. I mean, their Morey was the one who decided that they would pay Eric Gordon 18 million a year to average 14 a game. Like, is that a great decision? No, but their owner is definitely an asshole. So what's next for the Rockets? Do they keep small ball going? I don't really know that they have a choice at this point. But let's not forget that Morey basically built this team without resorting to tanking. And if you can build a dynasty, or not a dynasty because they didn't win shit, but if you can build a solid team in the NBA without resorting to tanking, and you had a 55 win team over a decade ago, and you dropped the 42-40 wins before getting back into the 50s and 65 wins, I know that a lot of people clown on the Rockets, but 26 NBA franchises would absolutely kill for Morey's track record. And yeah, I think the 76ers got a good one. I mean, he said he was going to take a gap year, but the Rockets' terrible ownership forced him out. And also, the Rockets, they have the second highest win percentage in the league, only behind the Spurs since Morey took over. And that is ridiculous when you think about the teams that have come up during that time. The Clippers, Golden State, OKC when they had Durant, and Cleveland when they went to the finals four straight times, and probably a couple more I'm forgetting right now. And to tell you the direction that this team and this organization as a whole is headed, and hold on, let me adjust my camera real quick. So to tell you about the direction of this team, Mike D'Antoni would rather be an assistant under Steve Nash than be the head coach of Houston. So, like I said, the good news is that Harden is apparently fully committed to Houston, and he's locked in for the season. But, man, I don't know. Do we know if that's true or not, or will he get traded eventually? But, yeah, this definitely changes things, because keeping Russ is still on the table, whether he wants out or not. And if he does, and you can find a move that makes the team better, then this likely means that James Harden is open to that as well. So, also, one more thing is that PJ Tucker has been basically the undeniable glue of the Rockets, and he says that he has been irate over his contract situation all season long. And Tucker, who signed for, let me check, yeah, around 8 mil season back in 2017, has seen other like 3 and D wingmen around the league receive, I don't know, bigger paydays in less important situations than a key starter for one of the perennial top five teams in the league. And Tucker said that he wanted to finish his career as a Rocket, but felt like basically insulted by the fact that Houston waited so long and waited until after the February 6th deadline to guarantee his salary. So Russell Westbrook has basically thrown all his chips to the center of the table, and he wants a resolution before the season begins. But what direction does Houston go on from here? Do they resort to the old method where they just hand harden the ball all game, make him not play any defense, and say, okay, here's the ball, do whatever you want, pass to whoever you want? The season where he led the league in assists in 2016-17, or do they scour for a suitable guard who can play next to Harden and still give the Rockets a pretty good 1-2 punch? I don't know. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Link is up there or in the description below. Anyways, guys, have a good day and peace out.